Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. In this week's video, we're going to be showing you a sports car that you can get for a ridiculous amount of money that could just be about the best thing since sliced bread. I've missed my intro up, but it will do. Who's that? Martin!
Hello, mate. All right?
Yes. What we got?
I think you know exactly what it is.
Well,
It's the old, the Black Beauty.
so what is this car, Martin, for anyone that's watching that's not familiar with it?
Well, it's a bargain. Is what this car is. It's a little boxster. It's a 2.7, and I love it. I bought it for my wife as a little bit of a summer toy for her and my daughter to just pooch about in. But I've fallen in love with it as well.
That is a great idea, isn't it? Buying your missus a Porsche for them to mooch about in. But
Yeah.
who drives this car the most?
Well, I did till I had my accident, but all my friends have been driving it this year, taking me to car shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's just, I'm lucky enough as to have a few nice Porsches. I've had a lot of Porsches, and I'm lucky enough to own a couple of lovely Porsches. But I must say, this is why we're doing this today. Bang for buck, this is the best Porsche you can buy for your money right now.
The 986 Boxster.
Yeah, 2.7.
2.7. How much did you pay for this?
Well, I got this as a little bit of a rolling project. I only paid £5 grand. But some people go, that's a lot of money for a Boxster, but it's only done 35,000 miles.
That's low, isn't it? That's low. There can't be many with that less
No,
miles.
no. I mean, you can pick one of these up tatty from anywhere from probably £3 grand. You might pay up to 8,000 for a good one. But even under the £10,000 mark, I genuinely don't think that there's anything better, because you've still got the reliability. They're classic car road tax, classic car insurance, low road tax. They're not loads of money. I think this cost me and my wife to insure for the year 200 quid. This is nothing, is it?
No.
So I didn't buy the car looking like this. As we know, we bought this off of Madman Danny. And
AKA Dan's Thomas.
yeah, so this came about. I was looking at Boxsters and I was looking at 996 cabs because I wanted to get my wife a little cab. Anyway, I'd booked myself in to go and see one with higher mileage for the same sort of money. Spoke to you on the phone. You said, oh, Danny's got one in his garage and he's got a guy that's interested in it, but he was bidding him. And Danny just wanted his basically money back and a little bit of a drink, which was a cheap car at £5 grand, but this other bloke was trying to haggle him. So I was like, no, I'm not that sort of person. If the car's worth it, I'll have it.
£5 grand for a Boxster with 30,000 miles on it's already cheap, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it needed, so when I bought it, it needed the wheels weren't on it. It needed 4 new tyres. The front bumper was knackered. The bonnet was badly dented. It had a scuff on the rear bumper.
So basically a normal car from Dan then.
It needed
Sorry, Dan,
basically it needed a bit of love. Danny had bought it and literally just kept the car on trickle charge.
Yeah.
So I basically bought it as a little bit of a fun, but I wanted a budget project. So I was going to put new tyres on the standard wheels, and these came up. And they're not real ones, they're replicas, but for the wife, does it matter?
The alloys look really cool,
Yeah,
actually.
so these were only 1,000 quid with tyres delivered, which I thought were a bargain.
And what other features has this got? Because this isn't stock suspension, is it?
No, this has got the Porsche uprated, I think they call it MO30.
Yeah.
It's also got the sports seats in it,
Yeah.
which are brilliant because they're also electric, which is
Yeah.
brilliant.
And terracotta interior.
Yeah,
sets
and I
off.
love the terracotta,
Me
and
too.
it goes so well with the ambers on the outside. It's sort of really cool, modern retro, I think.
Yeah.
But this car drives, to me, as good as any other Porsche. I mean, you'll get in it in a minute and you'll drive it. I can't drive properly at the moment, but you have a drive of it and tell me what you think. I mean, I think bang for buck, in my opinion, there isn't a more reliable, better car. And because it's a 2.7, we don't have any of the issues that you get with the 996 or the 3.2s.
Ball scoring or
No,
IMS
they're
failures.
just. And one thing that's amazed me on this is how good it is on fuel. It's just a cheap, fun car, and because it's not a lot of money, so sub 10 grand for a Porsche, you don't worry about it. So you
Yeah.
can just thrash it about, have fun. My wife loves it. If she got any excuse, the sun's out, her and my little girl will just put the radio on, they'll go out in it.
Yeah.
And I'm the same,
But
you know.
it's actually him that's driving it.
Well, when I'm able, I will be driving it. Before I had my incident and my legs got damaged, I was driving this all the time, and I was leaving my GT4 and my 997 in the garage.
Yeah.
This was on the drive because it wasn't a garage queen, and I would literally just get in this, and instead of taking my van to work, because I love this so much, I was just driving this.
Because you can redline these,
Well,
and it's sensible on roads,
What
isn't it?
happens is you can use all its power, but the best thing about this car, I think, above all, is just the way it handles. And because it's a small little car and it's not really powerful, you feel like you're in a little go-kart. And
little mid-engine
you
car.
you haven't got that with your 996. If you nail it round and roundabout, you've always got that thought in the back of your mind, am I going to go? In this, you don't get that. It's planted.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not been able to drive it for months. My friend Ed's been driving this to shows for me. But yeah, it's just such a cool car, and that's why I thought,
So
look,
high
let's
on fun
educate
factor,
people.
high on thrashability,
Yeah,
massive value. Next thing we've got to do is road test it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a car that I would have taken the mick out of years ago.
Yeah.
And
I've got to say this before we get into the road test. 10 years ago, I hated these cars.
Yep,
They
same
were the
here.
lowest of the low to me.
Horrible.
They looked awful.
yeah.
Now, because I own a 996, I look at the lines of the car and the front of it, and I just think, oh my God, it's sexy. But yeah, 10 years ago, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't have turned my nose up at it, but I would have just
It
thought,
didn't do anything for me at all. And I had a vision. I'd gone on Instagram, saw a Boxster on a nice set of wheels,
Yeah,
dropped.
the wheels
This
are
was
cool.
already dropped. I luckily got the hard, because again, it's a bargain buy. I got the hard top off a friend of mine for 300 quid, and it's in the right colour. So all these bits I've just bought as a bargain. I haven't gone, it's not a show queen, it needs bits, but it doesn't matter.
No.
It's all about fun.
It's like mine. If that was a show queen, if it was too mint,
You wouldn't enjoy it.
I wouldn't want to take it around a circuit.
No.
So you need needs a few love marks on
This
it. So
goes
you
to
don't care.
Tesco, you know, this goes anywhere. If my wife can take it
Not
out,
Tesco's.
Tesco's.
The graveyard of all car
B&Q,
damage.
Tesco's. In fact, it has picked up a parking dent from the
Yeah,
last
it
time
is.
it was out. So let's get in
Tesco's,
it
but lethal,
and
lethal.
see what you think.
Yeah, let's go.
Because obviously you've been used to driving very powerful cars. You've been
Well,
driving
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I just think you'll love this.
So we're on the road, guys. The 986 Boxster, curb weight approximately 1,300 kilos. What are my first impressions of driving it? It's easy, it's comfortable, it's relaxing. In terms of power, no, it's not a monster. What's the horsepower in this engine?
I think they're about 220 maybe.
Which is probably about right for the weight.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I think they're about 217, 220.
So the word we're looking for is thrashability. With this car, if you want to enjoy it, you have to thrash it around, which is what motoring should be all about. One of the reasons I got rid of my M4 CS, because on this road now, I couldn't get on the throttle on it because it just becomes too fast, too quick and too dangerous. Whereas this car, you could drop it down to second, give it some gas,
It loves to be revved.
enjoy that engine.
Yep. I mean, it's got all the power you need for a B mode.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it fun. You can drive it like Miss Daisy, or you can go out and have a little blast in it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's miles per miles, and I think that's the name of the game with this car. It always has been. It's a budget fun car.
Yeah.
And for anyone wanting to get into a Porsche but have reliability, I think the Boxster's a good way to get in, because you know, like as you found out with your 996, they can be costly. Yeah.
Don't talk about that.
Yeah, but also to get into another Porsche,
Yeah, you're right there,
looking at older Porsches like the 944s, which have started creeping up. You've got your 928s, your 968s, but they're all more money.
Yeah.
So I think to get into a Porsche nowadays for sub 10 grand, to have a reliable, cheap, fun car, I don't know, what is there that's better?
Yeah. The thing that really surprises me is how tight this car is. For something that's 25
Well, yeah.
years old.
I
It's
know.
tight. Like, there's no creaks, there's no groans, there's no rattles. The steering feels nice and responsive. It's not vague. It's really good. The brakes feel, I mean, they're not, the brakes feel good.
Yeah, they're all right, mate, thank you.
This car just needs to be driven hard. I remember on that Alps trip following Mark Hendry around, his silver one, and I was in my E36, and we were both absolutely redlining these cars all the time to try and keep up with everyone.
That's why he picked the Boxster though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He took the Boxster over his 996, and from what I've been told, the Boxster held its own.
Boxster was
really, really well. Like round the bends, this is where this car comes alive. Like
Yeah.
round the bends, it's just phenomenal. I mean, my wife will never drive it like that. I mean, when people have been driving me to shows this year and we've ended up taking this, my mates that have driven it have all just loved it, you know, because it's a car everyone dismissed.
But what I like about it as well is it can be comfortable. So you could do a lot of miles in this, and the seats are nice. I'm not smacking my head against the roof.
No.
And it's just really civilised as well. So you've got a bit of everything. And of course, we're forgetting the fact it's a convertible as well.
Yep. I mean,
So
yeah, exactly.
You could also take the old roof down and, you know, in the summer and stuff like that, and really enjoy.
Well, that's why I bought it, because it's a nice bit of summer fun for my wife and my little girl. They love, you know, the idea of just going out in it anywhere. They go to a lot of dance classes and stuff, so my little girl was like, oh, can we go with the roof down, mummy? You know, it's that kind of thing, or me, or, you know, it's that fun. I mean, I was lucky enough to find a hardtop cheap off a friend. I mean, you can feel how planted it is.
Yeah, I love
that mid-engine,
it
just makes the car feel
balance,
planted.
You don't get the snowplow effect.
No,
We've got the engine in the front.
And you also, with the 996, as you know, where the engine is and the front end, they make the front end feel very light, don't they?
Yeah.
This feels very...
Look at that, it's coming alive.
Feels solid though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously.
But that's where it's at its best. 5,000 to 7,000 revs, this car comes alive.
Yeah.
But the chassis feels so good.
It's nimble.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a car that's 25-year-old. It's not knocking around, is it?
It's the MO30 suspension is good.
Yeah.
It's not as stiff as mine, but it's eating this road up, isn't it? We're not getting thrown all over the place.
No, it's fine.
It's good suspension.
These seats feel lovely, don't they, as well?
Yeah. No, it's a great car, mate. It really is. And it's weird, isn't it? Because once you realise how great they are, you get a little addiction to them. And I was looking on Auto Trader last night thinking, oh, there's a nice one, there's a nice one. And you end up getting that little, it sparks that little instinct that you might want to go and buy one, even though it'd be silly for me to go and buy one because I've got the
enough
996.
money on a 996 this year anyway.
And they will need work. Like, this is one thing. There's a few jobs that you've got to sort out on this, isn't there? What have you got to do?
I mean, well, when I bought it, I had to get the front bumper painted. I've had to get loads of bits. The bonnet was dented. I had to get the dent done. So I've had cosmetic stuff done. Obviously, it needed 4 new tyres, so I ended up buying wheels. It still needs. There's a bit of paint that's not right on the rear quarter. Bit of lacquer peel on the wing mirror covers. I mean, I want to get it fully serviced again. But one thing I will say, when it went in for its MOT, I asked the MOT tester to let me know if anything was right, and he just said it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But the best thing about this car for me was buying it off of Danny, and the day that Singh, a friend of ours, who people might know, he's got a lovely Porsche collection, saw the number plate. So it's L88 box, and that came with the car. But the Chinese 88 is a lucky number. So he told Danny that the plate was worth about £2,000 and he'd better sell it quite easily. What did Danny's face do, John?
The colour just drained out of his face.
From pink to white, just
It was
like
already
that.
a little bit pale because he knew he'd sold it a bit cheap. Sorry, Dan. But the colour drained from his face and he was just like a ghost. I've never seen Dan. And he was just sitting there mumbling, or standing there mumbling to himself. For about
Going, no, you're
10
not
minutes.
telling me the truth. He was going to Sing, and Sing was like, no. If one of my mates had a Boxster, he would love to buy that plate. But I'm going to keep the plate anyway because I love boxing. So it's not about the Boxster for me, but it just works really well with the car, and I'm not bothered whether it's worth £2,000 or not.
Yeah.
The fact that it's on the car and it makes this car $3,000 is even better for me, isn't
Dan
it?
did get his revenge because what Danny does with any Porsche that he buys to sell is he starts pulling the alarm system apart so it doesn't go off. So Danny pulled the alarm system out of this and said, yeah, I'll fix the alarm, it won't go off, because he's like removed it. What happened the first night you had it?
First night I got it, basically I kept all the neighbours up, and I was like, that's not my car, because Danny's taken the alarm out for me, because like all these and the 996s, they do suffer from the odd alarm problem because of there's something to do with the sensor, isn't it, with the key? Anyway, yeah, so I thought we'd got the alarm had been taken out, so I disconnected the battery, as I thought, just to stop the noise. It carried on. Turned the car on, turned the car off, the alarm went off. Anyway, so I thought, I can't remember, I was going to Halfords to get something. I literally locked the car up in Halfords, and I remember sending Danny a video. This alarm that we'd taken out was still going off.
You couldn't turn the alarm.
No, so I had to basically take the front end of the car apart, and it's got a secondary alarm. So I ended up not dismantling it, but just unplugging it, because it's just not needed. So yeah, it's just not needed. But yeah, he did get me. He got me good because I think it was about, I don't know, 12 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking that's not the Boxster because Dan took the alarm out, but he didn't. Dan.
This is really, after 5,000 revs, this is so good.
It's just a tiny little car. And it's a sort of car you could just bimble
I'd
about.
probably lose my licence more in this than I would in my car, because I just want to rag it. I'd want to get up into that 5,000 rev zone where it comes alive. It's just such a good car, this, mate. It really is a good car.
They're brilliant cars. For the money, they are bloody, oh, pardon my French, they are brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the video in today's been interesting because John's went to plug the GoPro in and it didn't work, so we've ended up having a little bodge up here with my phone, and then this one's probably shaking around a little bit, but hey, it's working. The car's, it's not too bumpy, is it? Even with these wheels and suspension, I just think it feels planted.
The only thing I don't like is that long throw on that gear.
Yeah, but you're used to a short shift.
I am. You've got to get the Black Forest and the short shift.
There's just no. My wife won't appreciate it.
Your path to the dark side will be complete then.
Yeah, but no, I'm just.
Your missus won't know. She won't even realise you put a new gear shifter in it.
Yeah, she will. I did it on one of my Golfs once, and she was like, "I can't drive your car." So no, I don't. That's not happening. I've done as much as I want to cosmetically. I'm going to get a few bits tidied up paintwork wise.
Yeah.
Probably, and just keep it serviced. And like I say, it's a low mileage car, so I can afford to have loads of fun in it.
Yeah.
My wife can drive it. It's not a car that I'm thinking about selling, because if I do sell it, it's not gonna change my life.
You might make $2 grand, you might make $3 grand, but
I'm not going to be able to replace it. What can I buy?
Yeah.
So this is a good question for anyone watching. What could you buy in this area for this money that's as good? I mean, there'll be
lots
lots
of this discussion in Switzerland, and I said E36 because it's a similar sort of price.
Yeah, but what, an E36 cab?
Well,
we've got to be on the cab
want
front.
A cab, yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. This is known as, it's a convertible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what are we looking at? We're looking at MX-5s.
Yeah.
What else did we say? The little Mercs?
MR2s.
TT.
Yeah.
TT, but is the TT, I suppose the TT is the same sort of money, but TTs, I think they're more to tax, they're more expensive to run. Yeah, the MR2 is a really good one.
But this is a Porsche, that's the thing. This is a Porsche. Those
but it
Porsches.
was always known as a poor man's Porsche, wasn't it?
Well, I think, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, because the thing with when you go to the Porsche car meets, no one cares.
No, there's no prejudice, is there? No, it's not like that.
And it's like you say, you can get very precious about the expensive cars because they're so amazing. Like, you've got a GT4.
I know, I'm precious about that car.
Yeah,
not
but
that it's been driven this year.
You don't want to drive it in winter because it gets all the shit underneath it. You don't want to take it to Tesco's because it gets people with the doors in it.
I wouldn't leave that car anywhere. Where this, I'm just not fussed about. And do you know what? My friend Ed, a friend of ours, he's driven this car to a few Porsche shows this year, and this car gets a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And it's because it's just a simple. The interior, it's not to everyone's taste, but a lot of people are starting to love it.
Yeah.
And the wheels and the little amber lights, it's become a cool car, and I think one day these will be, it's got to be a future
because
classic.
Anyone that owns a Porsche loves Porsches, and then they see these and they think, I could have one of these for not a lot of money and it'd be really fun. That then creates this little love affair, little spark, and then it gets you looking on Auto Trader, and then you start seeing them, and you start seeing the beauty of the lines. Like the back of this car, the actual styling is nice, and the front, when you look at it from the side angle, it's really nice, like that sharpness of design. And when I'm a 996 owner, so I love the design of it now. But it's funny, isn't it?
It's like a 996 inside, though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, it's the same.
There's not really any difference,
is
there?
It's the same, yeah. I think from the front forward, it's the same. In terms of what to look out for, if you go with something like the pre-facelift 2.7 5-speed manual, if the engine's working and it's been
serviced and looked after, I think mileage really on one of these is irrelevant if they've been looked after.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got your, the obvious things that every car will wear. You've got your coffin arms and suspension bits and bobs.
You've always got to look at. There'll be suspension bits that they do.
There'll be
the rag tops as well. If it's done over 100,000 miles and it's 25 years old, the rag top is going to be worn.
Normally these suffer from where the screens are plastic. They'll either discolour and they split.
Yeah.
This has even got a little split in it, but it's fixable.
Yeah. Yes, you'll have a few jobs with them, but that's normal as well.
It's an old car.
Yeah. But it don't feel like it though, Martin. It really doesn't.
No,
it doesn't feel like an old car.
I think that's something to do with the mileage, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the fact, I think it's been, from what I think Dan said, the last person, because I think he contacted the previous owner, they were an fairly elderly, and I think it wasn't, you know, it was just used as
bingo. Bingo.
A little
one
weekend,
lady owner.
Yeah, a little weekend toy. I mean, and to be fair, that's what it is now.
Yeah. You know, the only other thing, and you mentioned it, exhaust hack. It needs exhaust hack, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's quite. So what I'd like to do, because again, it's on a budget, I'm not going to go spending money. There's loads of videos on YouTube for anyone that's got a Boxster where you can drill the 2 holes in the back of the exhaust, and you make the holes, I think they end up being about 25 mil or something, and then that increases the noise. And then you've got the, I think they call it it's a delete on the intake. I'm trying to think what it's called. But anyway, so yeah, you can take out the side intake, and there's like a trumpet, and you can pull that out.
Like
and
a
then
resonator delay.
Yeah, it's just literally just a plastic restrictor.
Oh, okay.
And I think what you can do is, it's only 4 screws. You pop it out, and then you get a better intake noise.
Yeah.
So with that and the exhaust, that will be something I'll do, because it's not going to cost me anything. It's a half hour of my time, and it will make the car feel a bit better. The wife might not be that impressed, but you know, it'll be fine. I don't think it makes it out and out loud. It just gives it that little bit of a
She won't
purr.
notice. She won't notice.
She will. She notices anything, mate. So I think that'll be a couple of little mods I'll do to it. Like I say, it's not that kind of car. It's just to be driven and have fun in.
Oh, it's 50 here. Yeah. I mean, so we'll wind this up now, Martin. You will not get a better sports car than a early 986
I don't
Boxster.
think so.
If you can find one sub 60,000 miles for somewhere around the $5,000 price, you're doing bloody well.
I think they're going to go up in value one day.
They're
They're going to. Yeah, that's lovely.
Oh,
they're going to.
beautiful.
Yeah, Spider. They're going to have their time, aren't they? And I think value for money, fun. They're cheap to insure because they're a classic. They're cheap-ish to tax, much cheaper than all the new ones.
Yeah.
And you know, very reliable with the 2.7.
Reliable. You can do a lot of the jobs yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing about them is just you can throw them around. The chassis is really good. We haven't driven it hard. We're sticking to the speed limit. But you know, you can throw these around. You could take this on a little track day as well. Give it a little bit of a rev. You know, and get it in the corners. Get the
People
tyres
do though,
squealing.
don't they? These are always on track days. They're really well known for
The
it.
newer ones are quick as well, like properly quick.
Yeah.
But this car can do everything, and it's an awesome car to road trip with in the summer when you get the top down and go around Europe in it.
And that's another thing about these. They got more space than a 911. So you've got the front. You've got the front boot.
Yeah.
And the back boot.
And you know what? I'm not being funny. No one's going to nick this car.
Probably
Are they?
not.
No one's going to nick a 986 Boxster. You could leave the roof off. You could leave it unlocked. I mean, the lock doesn't work on mine either. No one's going to nick it.
I don't think so. I mean, you never know, but it's a car that a lot of people wouldn't even sort of look past, and I just think value for money. Hence why I've done this video with you today, because I just, you know, obviously I know you've driven quite a few Porsches now. I've been lucky enough to own a few, and I just think bang for buck, there is not anything better.
No, there isn't. No, I mean, you can't. $5,000's nothing. Like
Not
you
with
buy
today's
any
money.
you buy any 911 that's older than 10 years old, you've probably got a $5,000 bill just to sort out some of the niggles.
Straight
You know,
away.
get the suspension sorted and whatever's broken on it. For the price of these cars, yeah, I mean, I really would be tempted. I think if my 986, my 996 blows up, I'd look at getting one of these. You know, I really would. But we've already said, if you're going to sell this one, Martin, first dibs over.
Do you know what? I've got quite a few people that have got first dibs on it, most of our group. But it's not for sale, it's not going to be, because like I said, what would I replace it with?
Never say never, Martin. Never say never.
Well, no, there's always that, but I don't think she'll let me.
Where's he going?
She loves this little car, and to be fair, so do I. It's become a little bit of a project for me, and a bit of a fun project for not a lot of money. So
Me too. Me too.
It's a budget project, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So, thank you, Martin. Don't forget to subscribe. And, yeah, this has been
We'd
the
like to
Porsche.
hear your comments, though, on
Oh,
what
yeah.
you could get for the same money that you think would be better. Because I would be interested, because we've been racking our brains. We've been through a few cars, but
You're going to struggle to find something. A sports car that's less than $5,000.
around the $5,000 mark.
that does all of this?
Let's hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the comments.
Cool.
Cheers, Mark.
Thank you.
Bosch.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when you